The Cavs, they have extended Jarrett Allen on a 3-year, $91 million agreement. Dan, I had a first reaction to this. I'm curious if you did.
Well, I say sort of just definitionally, I had to have a first reaction to it. Yeah, I would say I was surprised by it. I mean, I feel like Jarrett Allen's name has been in trade talks pretty consistently, or at least in trade rumors rather, whether the Cavs are actively accepting calls on him or making calls on him, that I don't know, but his name comes up as a potential if Cleveland looks to move off of this core after failing in the first round against the Knicks a couple of years ago, after falling short against Boston in the second round this year. If they look at what their mix is and say, we think the best version of this team is not two bigs together with these two small guards, how do we pivot from it? The answer most often seems to be, what if we trade Jarrett Allen, especially after the fact of you extend Donovan Mitchell's contract, you give Evan Mobley the 5-year rookie scale max. So then where are your transition points from there? And what the Cavs, the signaling had been before this, they don't want to trade anybody. They changed their coach from JB Bickerstaff. They bring in Kenny Atkinson. They think that there's a way to get more out of what they currently have in store. And so what they do here by adding the 3-year, giving what winds up being the maximum extension they could give Jarrett Allen now, like under the collective bargaining agreement, you can extend guys at 140% of their current salary. He made $20 million last year. The extension starts at 28, which is 140%, goes up from there. The 3 years is the maximum they could go up because there's still 2 years left on his deal. This was as much money as they could give Jarrett Allen right now to line him up through 26, 27 with the rest of that core. And so what this signals is we believe in this enough that we want to remove the doubt for right now, at least, about we're going to dismantle this and sell things off for parts. We believe that these 4 guys together are a powerful enough engine that it can get us deep into the playoffs and we can be a real contender. Whether you believe that's true or not, different people will have different opinions, but this is the Cavs saying enough with all this. When is this guy going to ask out? When is this guy going to get traded? When are we going to pivot? We're not. We're going full steam ahead with this. And I think, that's a pretty interesting decision for them to make and a pretty loud statement for them to do it. And they're paying an awful lot of money to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if he signed pen to paper, and I should have just sent a text about this, so I apologize for not. That's the simplest thing to get confirmed, when exactly he put pen to paper on this. But when he does, it will be 6 months to that date that he will be barred from being traded. So if it was as early as yesterday, that would take him all the way to January 31st, which would mean there's just a week window there before the trade deadline on February 6th to move him. So that already hampers that just from a sheer practicality standpoint. But yeah, to your point, yes, Cleveland officials have been telling me all throughout this offseason that they have no intent on trading any of their core 4. Doesn't matter if there was any early stink being raised from Clutch about Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell fit. And doesn't matter if there are plenty of teams on the outside looking at the questionable fit between Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley and saying, the Cavs have to break that up because they all want to trade for Jarrett Allen.
Right.
So, the head coach that you just mentioned that they replaced JB Bickerstaff with, Kenny Atkinson, is also the head coach who helped develop Jarrett Allen and Cavs backup guard Karis LeVert in Brooklyn into the players that Cleveland wanted to acquire. I mean, they snuck into what became a 4-team trade with James Harden going from Houston to Brooklyn because the Rockets did not want to keep Jarrett Allen, if memory serves correctly. And Cleveland was like, we'll take one of him. Thank you very much. And they've been continuing to reward him ever since, first signing that 5-year 100. Now he's up to 30-ish AAV. And yeah, one of my first blush reactions was, it's tough news for the Pelicans, one of the teams that has been completely in the mix of teams that would absolutely like to get their hands on Jarrett Allen, especially in regards to any potential trade for Brandon Ingram, which we have continued to hear virtual radio silence about that.
Yeah.
And BI's at 36. So in theory, this 30 million helps get closer to that number, and we'll see. Like, it still remains a possible match.